Hello and welcome to the HeartWorking Dad podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Perez, and this is a podcast for Christian fathers looking to do the hard work of heart work. And the heart work is working on our hearts in partnership with Jesus so we can better spiritually lead our family and work on their hearts. I'm your host, Gabriel Perez, and if this is the first time we're meeting, I've been with my wife for 20 years, 3 kids. We both work full-time jobs and homeschool our kids. And in addition to that, I'm a certified biblical parenting coach from the National Center of Biblical Parenting Association. Let's dive into this episode. Overwhelm. How many of us dads feel overwhelmed? How many of us dads just feel that it's too much? We don't know how to handle all. We don't know how to balance everything. We're struggling. Because I would say that I'm that dad. Overwhelmed. And I heard this from John Eldredge. One thing I would really love to recommend is the book Resilience. And then he has the Pause app. He has the 30 Days to Resilience. Really so amazing. So awesome. So great. It has just been such a breakthrough in this season that I'm in of redefining some of just these hard things, these lies that I've come up with, these agreements I've made. And I've listened to this book. I've read the book. I've done the Pause app. I've done the 30 Days to Resilience. And, sometimes it just takes another season for it to come back and know that you need it all the more. And that's where I'm at right now in the Resilience app. It has just been so great. I can't tell you it. Literally things that my wife and I are talking about, he addressed that next day in the app. And, God is just moving so mightily within Wild at Heart, within this stuff. It's amazing. A lot of what I am talking about here is based out of John Eldredge, Morgan Snyder. They have been sages to me, so I really don't want to just sit here and act like I know everything. I've just really taken to what they are teaching, what they are offering, and have been on that journey, and it's helped me tremendously. So I didn't think I was going to go there, but anyways, overwhelm. John Eldredge put it like this: overwhelm is the cause of thousands of tiny disappointments. Now, when you hear that, does it make you just go, oh man, that's so true? Wow, I never realized it. I thought it was because I'm just got so much on my plate. I thought it was because of this or this or that. Thousands of disappointments that just build up. Because sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, a lot of my go-to thing is to just do more. Let me do more. And it doesn't actually fix the overwhelm. Or I'm let me just rest. Let me just not do anything. Let me just play some video games maybe, or just skirt responsibility for a couple hours. And I've noticed that it really doesn't make a difference for me when I'm really in that overwhelmed stage. And now it makes sense. It's because it's not what's going on presently. It's what's happened in the past. It's all the times you've been disappointed in all these different ways, and they compound over time. And now you're just carrying that burden. You're just carrying that weight. So I really want to just bring that to light if you're listening to this podcast, because I truly believe as dads we are overwhelmed. I think there's expectations we have with our spouses, with our kids, and we're trying our best to meet these expectations on them, for them. And we're not, and sometimes it just comes as a weight. We're really just trying to do our best to lead, but we fail, we make a mistake. And when I fail, I feel really disappointed. Because I'm dang, I messed up again. And I'm a guy who does a podcast about Christian parenting and leading their home, and I just failed. Or I don't feel like I'm meeting these expectations, and then I'm disappointed. Or, to agreements that I've had with God where, God, I felt like you were going to show up in this way, and I know you did it. I know you have a plan, and I know I trust in you, but I was still a little disappointed. I mean, your feelings are your feelings. We have to address them. We have to know that they're there. We can't just say, oh, that's a stupid feeling, because honestly, quite frankly, that's what I do a lot of times. I dismiss my feelings like, oh, that's stupid, or that's not even a big deal right now. I shouldn't even think about that. But I'm that just because I dismiss it doesn't mean that disappointment went away. No, it builds and it builds. So what do we do? Well, John Eldredge suggests that we name these disappointments. What are you having trouble trusting in God with? What are you disappointed in? Sometimes we just have to name these so we can bring it to light. We can name it, and then we gotta let it go, though. But I think it's in the idea of seeing it and saying, you know what? I'm actually naming this. I'm taking it out of darkness and bringing it into light. Jesus, I was disappointed here. Will you come into this disappointment? Will you come in to my heart and just help me? Let it go. Would you do what you do with it? And even as I say that, I'm just thinking of all these disappointments. I'm thinking of things I've gone to God with, and you know what? It is a release. It is a weight lifted. And does that mean I'm not going to be overwhelmed tomorrow? No, but it does mean I have a tool in which to battle this. I have another thing in my arsenal, and it's really not so much mine, but just doing the swoosh method of giving it to Jesus. Whew. But first, you have to accept it. This is what I'm disappointed with. This God is what I've been carrying. This is my disappointment that I'm carrying, and now I got to give it to you. Now I got to pass it on. So that is the challenge and the encouragement. The encouragement is if you are overwhelmed, there's hope. And there's hope because I think we can actually understand why we're overwhelmed. The overwhelmed isn't going to come from the vacation. The overwhelm is not going to go away because of the vacation. It's not going to go away because your finances change. It's not going to go away because everything's different now, because it's built upon tiny disappointments. But now we know. And now we know how to move forward with it. Now we know how to shift that. And that's the challenge, is to shift the weight of the burden of overwhelm. So I hope you find that helpful. I hope it's something that you can take into your own life, as it's been something that I've clearly taken into mine. Because as dads, I get it. I'm a dad. There's a lot on our shoulders. So you're not alone. I'm here working to just bring light to this for fathers. And so I hope you find this podcast helpful. And with that, I will thank you, and we'll talk soon on the next episode. Thanks.